Hello.
Hello.
So, check out, so far it's just a lump. This is the ending card for Dark Souls. We don't always do ending cards. It usually just comes down to if I remember to and if there's, like, a good idea for it.
Well, we always have an ending card. It's just, you mean like a unique one for a series, like the end of a series.
Yeah, like, wait, have you been putting things at the end that aren't...
No,
like...
the end card is the one that has, like, the dog on it. And...
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not that.
Yeah, every video gets that.
Yeah, no, the congratulations.
Yeah. The one that I usually just throw the, what is that, melee congratulations on?
I think so. Remember. It's just like, that was our idea. That was basically my idea during the first
for
Digimon thing.
Yeah, and then we just did it for a handful of different series after
Digimon title cards, in retrospect, were so easy to do because it was just Popka's style. Yeah. So it was all quick and sloppy.
Yeah.
These are still a little quick and sloppy. The first title card for Dark Souls was very sloppy. But, like, it's a game with a lot of... Oh, hey, I forgot about this. Yeah, I put the blue straight onto the white, but there's a way to fix that, sort of.
Yeah.
You can just extract the white. It's not perfect, but it gets it off. So long as it's not like you inked onto the sketch layer, that's a little harder. You can still fix it, but it's hard.
I never actually watched through any of this, so I don't know what happened during the video.
You just speed it up. Okay.
So this is my first time watching it too.
I was saying that Dark Souls in general as an aesthetic for the game has a lot of muddiness to the textures. Like, it's like not necessarily that it's poor quality textures in the game, but that there's a lot of browns, a lot of grays, a lot of things that are very similar tones that just show you like dirt, rotten flesh, rocks.
I mean, admittedly, and I don't know how many people realized this who have been watching the series, but we weren't playing the original game with DS Fix. I wasn't sure how to get it to work at first. I know how to do it now. It's just, at the time when we first started, we were on a completely different PC, and there was a bunch of other complications, and it was like, I wasn't 100% sure how to make it work, but DS Fix is something that's been around for Dark Souls on PC since the creation of Dark Souls on PC.
Oh, okay.
And it improves the textures significantly using texture files that are in the actual game.
Wait, why?
And are just not used.
What the hell?
It also fixes some of the threading issues that the game has, so it runs at 60 FPS instead of 30.
Okay, so there's just a make good button.
A little bit. I mean, it's not
weird.
A button, it's a full-on mod, so it's
Still.
Yeah.
Anyways, like there's a certain level of sloppiness that was kind of necessity for this, because I'm not going to go in and render a bunch of, like, individual bricks and piles of bones and stuff. It's like, no.
Not going to give every single skull, like, all of your attention.
No. So there's certain things where it's like, oh, I can just sort of do fuzzy brown shading over this, and this will be fine.
Yeah.
I don't need the details to be perfect on the armor. It's really hard to get good close-up references for some of the armor, by the way.
I was actually kind of surprised that you used Havel's armor, because I know why you did. It's because that's what we ended the series in. But
that's
it's like,
what she's wearing in the final cutscene.
I have expected at least to see the pig hat on the pile somewhere, and it's not there.
Well, all of the things in the pile are firstly drawn from memory, so they look like shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm
not even sure what that mask is.
It's that Guy Fawkes mask that the fucking steampunk douchebag
He doesn't
wears.
wear a Guy Fawkes mask. He has like a Joker mask.
Whatever. This was from memory. But anyways, it's just the skulls of people that Grandma doesn't like. I think it's all people she doesn't like.
Yeah, probably.
But like putting the war hat there, it's like that's her thing.
Well, Solaire's there. Grandma doesn't hate Solaire, does she?
I do not give a shit about any of these characters.
You kind of don't really care for Solaire?
I don't care.
Eh.
The only characters I care about are all of the monster girls and some of the regular girls, but not all of the regular girls.
Fair enough. And there's a vampire there, spooky.
Oh, and Cecil. He was nice.
I don't even remember who Cecil is.
The brother.
Oh.
The witch brother.
Oh, yeah. That character doesn't have a name.
We decided on that.
Yeah, I forgot that we decided on giving him a name. Yeah, the Ceaseless Discharge.
Cecil.
His real name's gross. Like
he's sad, and he didn't get a chance in life, or for me to kill him personally.
Yeah.
And I was mad about that.
I know.
So it's just like, what? He's the witch brother? No, I like him. All of these other men can just rot on this bone pile.
Yeah, well.
They can.
I'm actually surprised that there's no Lautrec's thing here, considering how much of a pain in the ass that character was, and how much you hated him.
I did these from reference.
I know. And you couldn't even
like,
think of what his
memory.
helmet was. Yeah.
Yeah, I did these from memory. I'd use no reference.
Imagine.
So, like, fucking, who knows? just a sword. Generic sword.
This
Here's
is sword
a sub sandwich.
Yeah, it's like a burger. So canonically, in your mind, is that the helmet of the father or of the daughter?
What?
The helmet for the Onion
right,
Knight.
There's two of that.
Yeah, because there's two.
It's the father.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot there was a daughter, firstly. And second, she never did nothing wrong.
The dad doesn't do anything wrong either.
No, but he's dumb.
He actively helps you out, like, quite a bit.
He's just kind of, like, annoying at best. I mean, okay, so I gotta be fair. I went into this game and it sucked, so every character in it was already on bad terms for me.
Yeah, no,
Since it was like this game was, like, annoying. Like, it wasn't necessarily about it being difficult. It was about it being just actively trying to not be fun to play.
And we talked about it a lot during the series, but
constantly.
It's like you have a lot of very specific problems with the game, and it's mostly controls, if I understand.
Yes, most of it is controls. A lot of it is the aesthetic and the layout of the levels and stuff.
Yeah.
The bloom filters, but like, just I was going in and it was like, ugh, who's this asshole? Who's this asshole? And it's
oh no, everything's black.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
That was the background.
The background was just pure darkness.
Is that not?
No, it is.
I
know. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So this is something I don't always do, is painting on black.
Yeah.
So it's just good to do sometimes. I guess this was me just figuring out my colors, going in and just defining everything so that I can fill color it and lock the transparency. Makes it easier.
Yeah, I'm still amazed that it took us a while to fix, to finish Dark Souls. And part of it was definitely because of the computer issues that we had, like, part of the way through. Where it was like 5 whole months we had nothing come up on the channel. Because we had fried a mother... I don't know if we've ever explained to people what happened there.
Like, when we announced it happening, it was like we weren't sure.
Yeah. Eventually I figured out that the motherboard on that PC just fried. We think it may have been a
power surge?
Yeah, a power surge. Like, that's the only reasonable explanation I have.
Yeah, but yeah,
Which
that
sucks.
happened
Like, it's
in
terrible.
the middle of this. There was also the fact that this game was just such a fucking chore for me personally, that whenever we had other things come up that were more interesting that we wanted to get out right away, like Mario Odyssey came out, we wanted it on launch, like, this took a little bit of a backseat.
This is true. And, like, just in general, I don't feel like... And I know you might have a very different opinion of this, but I didn't hate this LP. I thought this was fine.
I think the LP is fine. I mean, the viewers can decide for themselves, but, like, I think the LP became fine partly because it's the two of us playing off of each other, and me hating the game and you liking it was dynamic.
A little bit.
Yeah, it worked out in terms of just we bounced off each other.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think the redeeming thing about this was that the character creation led to basically our personal mythos.
I was going to say, there is, in all fairness, also, like, love it or hate it, this is where Grandma's origins have come from.
Yeah, and she's probably never going away. It's basically just, what if Megan was, like, old, but, like, still angry all the time? And possibly, like, half spider, but, like, she's probably lying, but she won't let you say she's not.
Grandma won't go away to the point of, we just put out the Jerry video, and she's literally, like, in the Jerry video as much as I am, if not more so.
Yeah, and that was basically...
She's in it maybe more than Jerry.
That was basically, we went through the video several times and wrote down a bunch of stuff, but most of her lines were just me reacting to things.
Yeah, well, we workshopped it. It was both of us, but yeah.
Yeah, I gotta admit, the line that Chris gave about Lord Ram being rammed by lords was me.
Yeah.
But Grandma saying to fuck off was also me.
Yeah. Anywho, so with the conclusion of this, and then the addition of, we also have, like, Jerry and Chris now, I guess, are characters too.
And then sort of our Monster Hunter characters are part of the lore, I guess.
We're still kind of debating on that, because, like, I feel like it's different enough that maybe it doesn't feel like a great idea to me. I don't know.
I've got plans in my head. You can't stop them.
I can't. You're super right.
Yeah, as of this recording, we have not revealed the Monster Hunter GU character.
No. So we wanted to wait until we had completed this, which it was supposed to be an incentive to continue to finish this, and the video still took forever.
By that we mean Jerry, not this one.
Yeah. Sorry, Jerry specifically is what I mean. It took us forever to finish Jerry, but the incentive for finishing that for us was, hey, I don't know when it's going to come out, but we have started recording for a Monster Hunter GU series.
Yeah, so there's information in that I've pieced together for our characters that I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah.
But
let's not.
I've basically decided in my head about like how they're related to the Grandma family.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, eventually, it was kind of a joke that we just started saying in the LP, that this is basically just post-apocalyptic Skyrim.
It is kind of.
Yeah, like aesthetically there's a lot going on that's similar.
Yeah.
It's basically just you are some anonymous customized asshole in armor who walks into pits full of zombies and hits them.
Yeah.
But like it eventually came out just saying like, oh, well, the prequel to Grandma before she turns into a zombie is going to be just us playing Skyrim. That might happen.
Yeah, that might happen. I'm still not 100% sure of the time scale on that.
Oh yeah, like, who knows?
Let's put that in the bin of like things we hope will occur.
Yeah, look, just
maybe
I'm just saying
maybe
the lore
if we talk
here.
about it enough, we don't have to do anything and it'll just happen. Like I don't know.
I can just make shit up.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I like that Sunny D you gave her, by the way.
It's delicious.
I forget, do you change the blue on that bottle, or do you leave it just the glass bottle like that?
Is it supposed to be different?
They're, the flasks are green in Dark Souls.
Oh,
it's just green glass, though. That's all that it is.
Whatever.
So, like, that works, too. It doesn't actually matter at all.
The problem with stuff like this is that would require me to then, during this video, bring up, like, a search engine and just be like, what the fuck does this look like?
Fair enough.
Yeah, and, like, you could edit it out, but it's annoying.
Yeah. So, we're finally done with Dark Souls, and it's just amazing.
Here's the fun part.
Drawing fire. So we have... I mean, we're not gonna do it right away because, again, we have a couple of things that now that we have Dark Souls out of the way, we can focus on some other series here and there. We can do, like, Monster Hunter GU. We were talking about that. There's a handful of things that are going to happen. But we do eventually want to kind of jump into Dark Souls 2 eventually.
Which neither of us have played.
No, neither of us has played it at all. I haven't played Dark Souls 2 at all. As opposed to Dark Souls 1, where it was like I had totally played the game, and my opinion kind of colored a lot of my way that we played the game and the stuff that I said.
Yeah.
But it's like... You
basically, for the first third of the LP, was the tour guide, and people did say it kind of railroaded us a little. Yeah,
a little bit. So, I mean, the fact that we're going into... It's just that again, but Josh has no idea what the hell he's talking about, is going to be a little bit more fun for me, I think. So,
yeah, since you're not just trying to keep a leash on me while I roll off of cliffs.
Again, no idea when the fuck that's going to happen. Like, if that's even going to happen in the perceivable future, like within the next year or something like that. The timetable could be all over the place.
Man, look at me adjusting things. I'm sure this just ruins the magic of me knowing what I'm doing.
Beautiful fire.
Just like me going in, it's like, do I want jitter on this brush? No. Why would fire jitter? Do I want it to
fire
be...
jitters all the time.
Why would I want that? No, this is bonfire fires.
Oh, that's fair. Oh yeah, Dark Souls got a remaster, by the way, between when we started the LP and when we finished it.
Yeah.
And the remaster for the Switch version keeps the traditional fire the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And for every other version of the game, it puts like a Unity asset fire on the bonfires.
Yeah, and like, I didn't realize this till Josh mentioned it, but the bonfire fires do kind of just look like, they look like a screensaver. It's weird.
Yeah, I like it though. They look good. Like...
I'm kind of neutral to it. Like, the fact that when you kindle it up, it gets really tall is kind of satisfying. Otherwise, I've got no real opinion, but also, this is bonfire fire.
There's actual fire in the game that doesn't look like the bonfire fire, which is why a lot of people for a while thought that the bonfire fire might have been special in some way. And then the remaster is like, nah, here's normal fire.
This, by the way, was sort of supposed to be Grandma in the bonfire.
Yeah, I know, I figured. This is her burning up in the middle of the...
Yes.
In the cauldron.
And she doesn't give a shit.
Kill him with the first flame? Kill him with the first flame, I
She's drinking. She's slaying her enemies. Enemies being just random assholes she decided she didn't like.
She is ready to be burned into nothingness.
This is her being burned into nothingness. She just doesn't give a shit. She's already dead. What's it gonna do?
Yeah. Actually, like, I mean, if you want to be real, like the kill to the first flame, that fire at the end of the game probably does actually kill the undead.
Doesn't kill the guy who was stuck in there when we killed him. Huh? Should that skull have an eye hole?
I don't know.
If it's what's his face, he doesn't have eyes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Well, he could have vestigial eye holes.
He might have the eyes in his skull, sure.
Yeah, we don't know.
And he does have bones. We know that, which sounds stupid when I say it out loud, but
we know he's a vertebrate.
Like no. Straight up, the dragons in it's a lot of people theorize that the dragons in Dark Souls might actually be hard-shelled.
Exoskeletons?
And, yeah, they have exoskeletons, which is why, in order to beat them, you have to peel the stone scales off of their bodies and then kill them. And when you find Seath is the only dragon who looks the way he does, where he's just this weird blobby mess. And if you cut his tail off, we didn't get a chance to do it because the tail, I think, fell through a wall. But if you cut his tail off and look at it afterwards, he's clearly got bones inside his tail that are the same coloration and the same texture as the stone around him. So a lot of people think that the only real problem with Seath was that his bones are on the inside. Which is weird to think.
Yeah,
but
it's like I mean, maybe that's why he got along with humans and stuff.
Well, he got along with humans because the rest of the dragons didn't like him.
Well, it's like, hey, your bones are on the inside, and my bones are on the inside. Weird. We should hang out.
He's like talking to rabbits at first, and they're just running away. Takes him a few tries to talk to a human being. He's like, wait, you're a bird? Hey, I got wings. Okay, see ya.
This is canon now.
Yeah,
Too bad he's dead.
Oh, he's super dead. His daughter's still alive, though. I mean, Chris killed her, but, like, I don't know.
I don't know if Chris and Grandma share a canon.
I don't think that they share a continuity, but at the same time, I think they share I think they exist in the same series. I don't know. It's a very big question, and it's never going to be answered because that's pointless. Who cares?
They both exist in the area
time is convoluted.
On the side of the screen where the text box slide out of. Is Chris possibly going to be our character for Dark Souls 2?
I still haven't decided that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think that there's a very good chance that we'll just start a new character, but it could be Chris, or it could be if we want to touch him. We could potentially pull out a 10-foot pole and poke Jerry, but I don't know if I want to do that.
It might be based on, like, viewer reaction
it might be depending on people who watch. I don't know.
But on the other hand, it might just be that we just... like come up with some other idea in the meantime. It might like I said,
it could be a lot of things.
The idea of like Grandma's Skyrim adventures might factor into it. Or
yeah, because if we actually do that
Monster Hunter
between
characters.
now and when we start like Dark Souls 2, I mean, maybe there might be something else that happens in there. Who knows?
I like to think that if nothing else, these characters kind of like share a green room together.
I mean, maybe.
So like just even if they're not explicitly like related or in continuity, like fucking just like Grandma and Chris and Jerry and we never finalized a name for your Monster Hunter World character.
The Hunter.
And like the anime kid from our God Eater thing.
God, I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's a Hundera
he exists.
somehow.
I forgot. Hundera is just a title. It gets passed down as the generations go on.
No, I think it's a surname.
I wanted to point out, by the way, that I had been talking to some people a little bit ago, and there were some very nice people who really enjoyed our LPs and everything, who mistakenly thought, and I just wanted to correct this just in case there's anybody else out there who doesn't know, they mistakenly thought that we trace the titles.
Did people think that?
Yeah, because a lot of
First of all, how?
A lot of them are super spot on.
No, they're not. Trust me, if you've had to seen all of them up close, you would know.
But it's a concept of like, oh, but they look really good, so are you using a font? Are you tracing the... And it's like, no. Megan does this freehand, I also do it freehand.
Oh, yeah, you do it on all of the tournament snark.
Yeah, anytime, I think I've said this in the past, but I just want to reiterate. Anytime that you have ever seen like a character snark, a story snark, a tournament snark, like any of those, the title at the very beginning is me, and I do not trace those. Yeah. Some of them are extremely complex and they take forever to do. There are some situations where we have to know that we're doing certain games about a week ahead of time, so I can sit down and do the entirety of the title for it. Like Blaze Blue is a good example.
Oh man,
there are so many little moving parts in it. It's like, oh god.
People haven't seen it yet, but the Monster Hunter GU logo, I actually did when I did it, put it on my Twitter, just a screen cap of just that. And it's like...
It's a complicated logo.
Oh yeah, it's super fucking weird. But yeah, as you can see, like, the blue text I put in there to give myself the idea of where the spacing and proportions are, they aren't even in that font. I go over it and I do the font.
Yeah. Which is what I do too.
Yeah, and for a lot of this, I kind of have to guess at what the letters are supposed to be, because literally all I have to work on is the...
DARKSOULS.
Like, I guessed at what, like, a C or a G should look like. That's just me doing it. Yeah. I don't know. Is there a font? Is that, like, a font you can just find the thing
There
for?
might be, maybe.
Because, I don't know. Also, like, it's slightly off. Like, it gets bigger near the end.
Yeah.
Look at that line.
Look at that
line is straight as hell. No, it's not. It is slightly limping.
Yeah, it's a little tilty.
So I duplicated the layer. You kind of can't tell.
No, I kind of get it. I mean, the layer's increased, so...
Well, not everyone's looking at the side of the screen.
That's
I
fair.
don't even
That's
know why
fair.
you were.
Yeah.
But I duplicated the layer and then put one beneath it to blur, and I guess I had to figure it out a little bit.
Fair enough.
You know, you gotta trial and error it. And then you change the color a little bit. And I'm eyedropping colors from my other thing. I don't eyedrop from the sources, though. I eyeball it from the sources. I just kind of figure out what's close. It's not going to be perfect. And then, like, once I've got a color that I think is close, like, if I've already used it in a different piece, I'll just eyedrop that.
Yeah.
But it's not, like, accurate.
Yep.
This is just my handwriting.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, your handwriting is really nice.
No, it's not.
I think it's okay. And how do you feel about mine? Does that even matter? Does anybody care?
I mean, I think yours is better than mine. We both have this thing, though, where people just kind of, like, if they just see our handwriting, will, like, assume reverse genders for us.
Yeah, usually.
Like, people look at mine and, like, I don't know if anyone's mentioned it in a while, but in high school, people used to say it looked like a boy's handwriting.
So that was the end of the actual video of us doing it, though. Or of you doing it, rather. Of you drawing. Sorry.
Of me drawing and you telling me to go up the stairs where a rolling ball hits me on the way down.
So there should just be a big picture of the thing up on the screen. What are your final thoughts? Final thoughts for Dark Souls, by the way. Like, just king of final thoughts here. King of Final Thoughts tournament.
Fuck. Okay. My final thought's honestly the same as it's been the whole time.
Yeah.
Just this game was rough as hell. Like it feels like a rough draft of itself, which makes me excited for the idea that they've improved things in the later games. Oh, they super have.
Yeah. The later games get way better.
Because like Josh was defending this all the way through, but he like one of the main things he said to defend it was like they fixed this in Dark Souls 3. And it's like, I don't know about that doesn't help.
I don't know about 2 because the only really big things that I know about 2 are that the healing works on a system that I don't like, but other people love. And there's like a handful of other little mechanics that people have tried to explain to me, and I'm just like, I don't like that. But 2, for the most part, I've heard fixes a lot of issues, so it's like,
I don't know. It's just like they would have to be deliberately fucking with the player to make it worse.
Yeah.
Like everything that's wrong in this seems like it would have been fixed just by having noticed it was wrong.
Yeah. All right, so. Grandma's great. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed the LP that we did. I hope you enjoyed this like incredibly long, like year and a half long, like
hour-long Dark Souls run.
Yeah, year and a half long Dark Souls run. I feel like it was amazing, and I really appreciate everybody who's stuck with us the entire way through.
Thank you. You're all amazing.
And thank you guys so much.
You know what?
We love you. You're great.
One more final thought.
Yeah.
Your grandmother is amazing. I don't know her. She might not be alive. She might be, like, terrible. But just go to Facebook and write a post saying, love you, Grandma, and then close Facebook and never look at her minion memes again.
Remember to brush your teeth.
That too.
All right. You got anything else?
That was it.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.